Good morning and a very warm welcome to Frugalfull. My name's Lara and this is a frugal living and budgeting channel. Welcome, and it's lovely to have you here. So today's video is just a wee chat about how November's budget has gone. I just want to preface it by saying it has not gone according to plan. From the low and no spend year point of view, it has not gone according to plan, but things sometimes don't work out as we'd hoped, and I know exactly why it didn't work out. It's because I have completely underestimated how much I needed to spend for Christmas related purchases, both of a food variety and of a gift buying variety. The other thing that I've spent on that has meant that I've blown my budget for the November month, I say this month, we're just into December now, is I have bought some things for the flat, for decorating the flat, a couple of vases and some artificial flowers to be exact. The reason I've done this, even though it means I've gone beyond my budget, is because my goal originally for this low and no spend year had been to be able to budget to save some money to do some decorating and upgrading in my flat. Unfortunately, that's not been possible due to health reasons. I've been very much out of action for a long time because of the injury I had falling on the ice at the end of last year. I've had different setbacks related to these things, and as a result, I've had to shelf my decorating related goals at the moment. So given that, I felt that it was justified to spend a little bit that was a special thing just to brighten up my home, to make it that wee bit cozier. Seeing as I haven't been spending on flat related, decorating related things this year, I thought I would allow myself that one special kind of thing to brighten up my space. So it's a permitted purchase, even though it's out with my normal low spend parameters. The Christmas related and gifts related and Christmas food related have all pushed me out of my budget for November. So rather than number crunching with specifics, I'm going to just give a very general overview of how November went. So here goes. So I'll be looking away a bit at the document. I've got it just here, so bear with me. So November, it was a 4-week month I based it on, which is a spending limit of 100, which is £25 a week. So I also have allowed myself money from some sales on eBay and Vinted towards food costs for November. Like I say, there's not really any point going into specifics. I did have some makeup from the Frugal IOU, Frugal store, that's factored into the budget for week 1. If you look back to round about August, I did a video about that Frugal Tuck Shop and Frugal Store. I bulk bought some things, used some budget buffer funds, and then paid back the budget buffer funds like an IOU Frugal Store. So I began using some of the makeup that I'd bought before. So I did an IOU and paid the budget buffer back for that. I'd bought some hair related things like leave-in conditioners and things. I'd bought food for Christmas time, like to stock up in advance, and I'd bought a bulk shop from Asda, and there's been multiple little top-up shops from Asda, Lidl, and what also stretched my food budget was that I picked up small things when I was hungry and I was on the move from Greggs, snacky things on the way home from M&S. I picked up some wee things from the wee mini market, like Japanese foodie items, which was a wee special treat. And I'd picked up like small top-up shops from Morrison's and I picked up some things from Sainsbury's, and one time I picked up a fish supper on the way home. Lesson learned for food shopping, trying to keep costs down, is really being sensible about what I order in for the online shop or what I pick up on a bulk shop with the trolley in the new year when I go to places like Farm Foods, Iceland, that kind of thing, Aldi. What I need to do is I really do need to allow myself to buy some really appealing, tasty things, quick, easy dinners that I can just chuck in the air fryer for nights when I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I just don't have a lot of energy to cook and do batch cooking and things. Stuff that's easy, things I'm actually going to want to eat, that I'm going to be wanting to reach for, and like good snacky things to have with me during the day, so I'm not tempted to go and like buy stuff in the shops that's more expensive at an inflated price. Having a few things like some beers in, so I'm not buying any on the way home that are way more expensive than a multi-pack. And then the other thing with that though is to be disciplined. So if I know I've got these things to have a wee bit of what I fancy every now and then at home, that's one thing, but not overindulging and eating all the things in one go, making them last. So that's going to really require changing my lifestyle of how I eat, changing my eating habits, really looking behind the psychology of why I want to snack and why I want to overindulge sometimes, and not emotional eating. These are all going to be things I explore in the coming year as part of my strategy of how to improve on my food budget. I think a lot of it is about mindset and about shifting my lifestyle and mindset around food and eating naughty things. So even though I've blown my food budget by £62.55, which is unfortunately a bit of a bummer, I've done so well with food budgeting in 2024, but this month it's, as I say, over budget by £62.55. A lot of that is down to festive food buying, but some of it is to do with picking up things on the way home when I'm hungry, or craving snacky things and buying snacky things and not planning accordingly in my food shopping. So lesson learned, Lara. Also with the sinking funds, I've stayed within the sinking funds for social, for day trips, apart from that I had set myself a bit of money aside for a trip. Excuse me. I did set myself some money aside for a day out where I'd treated myself to a few things, but this is an annual thing that I enjoy doing, so I deliberately had a bit of money set aside from reimbursed travel money. It's coming up in a video mid-December, so watch this space. So that's okay because I'd factored that in. I didn't have sinking funds for other categories because I had bought things earlier in the year that I needed, like practical items. So I'm doing an IOU to the budget buffer for those sinking funds, so that's all good. As I say, for the treats fund that should be at the moment a no spend and an IOU, I did treat myself to the vases. And I have bought some charity shop clothing items, but these are things for the cold weather that are really going to be beneficial, that I've shared with you in videos in November. So I have been able to afford to do that, although technically I shouldn't have really been doing that, but it's still been a low spend, but I didn't really have a category for it right now. But they're things that are going to be practical and that are going to last. And I've been able to recoup money from the things that I've sold on eBay and Vinted. So it's not really blowing my budget. It's okay. It's all good. With the gifts related spending, what I've approximately figured out, I think it's round about £60 over budget. I lost track, so I don't know for sure. But what I'm going to do is, including the overspend on the food, what I'm going to call it is a deficit of about £150 over budget. I'm probably overestimating a bit, it's hard to say. I have also, with some separate funds, I have also ordered myself a special end of the year celebratory treat, but I won't receive or open that till the end of the year, and I'm going to recoup the money through sales for that if possible. And if not, by the time I receive and open it, then in the early 2025, any sales money will be used to pay myself back for it. So I'm keeping that out of the budget as well. And then my usual other sinking funds are swimming. Earlier in the year, I've done budget videos where I go into detail about my sinking funds. So if you'd like more specifics, then please check that out. So yeah, my other sinking funds, like holiday funds, swims, etc., that's vets, that's all been fine, and I haven't blown my budget on any of that. So apologies, it's a bit all over the place for how November's gone with my budget, but I hope it kind of makes sense. Basically, I'm about £150 over budget, and I have spent money on other things, but I've either prepared in advance for that or I've factored that in, and I've got that I've noted, and I'll do like IOUs through sales money. So none of it is a major issue, but it's not in the low no spend year spirit of things. But it has come from an intentional place. So it's everything I've learned this year has helped me in the decisions I've made around that. So even though it's beyond what my actual budgeted amounts are at the moment on a monthly, it's been manageable because of everything I've been learning on this no low spend year. And I knew I might not be able to perfectly stick to it, but I've learned a lot from that. And this whole process of even thinking in that way is being so beneficial and helpful. And it's great to be able to share that with you on here. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope all is going well with your budgeting. No low spend years, anything you're doing like that, would be wonderful to hear in the comments how it's going and what your strategies have been this year, or what you're planning to implement come the new year. So it would be great to hear about that. Feel free to share in the comments below. Would very much welcome that. Take care, see you again soon, and best wishes. Bye.